And I guess the scariest part about it is you don't need to be online to be affected by this. But I think Renee mentioned this as well. It's important to recognize that this problem, it did not originate on social media. And you do not need to be online to be affected, as I said. I learned from a very early age that the incentives of publishing are not necessarily aligned with the incentives of truth. My experience, I guess, has been more pre-social media around the UK press, who sadly conflate profit with purpose and news with entertainment. And they don't report the news, they create it. And they've successfully turned fact-based news into opinion-based gossip with devastating consequences for the country. So I know the story all too well. I lost my mother to this self-manufactured rabidness, and obviously I'm determined not to lose the mother to my children to the same thing. And when I said in the mental health series many months ago that they won't stop until she's dead, that was I guess more of a warning, not a challenge. And look, the scale of misinformation now is terrifying. The most troubling part of this is the number of British journalists interacting with and amplifying the hate and the lies, but they regurgitate these lies as truth. So, in fact, the term, and maybe people know this, maybe they don't, but the term Megxit was or is a misogynistic term. And it was created by a troll, amplified by royal correspondence, and it grew and grew and grew onto mainstream media. But it began with a troll. On Facebook itself, a dozen accounts are responsible for over 65%, I think it is, of totally made up and harmful COVID misinformation, which can reach into the billions of people. And yet they're still there. And for climate denials, a report just last week, I think, basically estimated that another 69%, notice the similarities between 69, 70, 75%. So the vast majority of information was driven by just 10 accounts in the US and Russia alone. And then let's not leave out YouTube. YouTube, in one report alone, more than I think 70% of videos were in violation of YouTube's own policies on misinformation. And worse, they came to the users via the recommendation tool within YouTube's own algorithm versus anything that the user was actually searching for. So right here, what I've just said is just how a few can have a devastating impact on the masses if not dealt with responsibly. And it shows really that it can be stopped. But ultimately, they don't want to stop it because it affects their bottom line.
Have you ever had a chance to present your case to the leaders of these companies, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey?
No, not directly, not personally. Jack and I were emailing each other prior to January the 6th, where I warned him that his platform was allowing a coup to be staged. That email was sent the day before, and then it happened, and I haven't heard from him since.